I'm Naya Good, and I'm on the scene with Sheen Magazine here at the 77th Annual Writers Guild Awards. We are celebrating all the facets of writing at the Beverly Hilton in Los Angeles, California. Let's get into it.
Butkar Shambutkar, yeah.
Okay, now what does that mean?
That means that white people start sweating, baby. No, it means to blossom.
Okay.
Yeah.
So congratulations on Ghost. It's in its fourth season
Yes.
and things of that nature.
Yep.
I just saw Ernie Hudson walking the red carpet.
I
He's
know.
in
I saw him.
Ghostbusters.
I saw him backstage, and
Yeah.
I definitely let him know how much I appreciate him.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is it about writing about ghosts and spirituality and all the things that we can't see but we know that is there that keeps us really tuning into these things, even from the Frighteners back in the day,
Yeah.
and of course Ghostbusters and all the things current. Like,
Well, I think it's like anything faith-based, or that if you don't know, it's real. The mystery and wondering what could be there allows us to fill in so many blanks with our own imagination. And with ghosts, we're just doing it from the perspective of humor.
Right.
So I think there's so many. The idea that like you could be showering and like 17 ghosts could just be watching you, commenting
Right.
on what you ate the night before
Oh my God.
and what kind of soap you're using.
Yeah.
It's funny.
and I actually think about that often,
Yeah, like if ghosts,
often than not.
they're not doing anything. They're not here to haunt you. They're
Right,
just here to
exactly.
silently judge you
Right.
in their afterlife.
And guide you a little bit if they like. Like,
Yes,
that's
yes.
Your ancestors.
If you do happen to be able to talk to them after a fall, like Rose in our show,
Yes.
yeah, maybe they could help you out a little bit.
Okay. And now, after all of these years being on film, especially the Ghostbusters franchise and it returning, how has the writing changed from 1989 to 2024?
I think it's gotten more honest. It's gotten more diverse. Thankfully, there are more images of people from all over, especially people of color. That wasn't there when I first started, And I've worked in a lot of movies. Did a movie supposed to be shot in Detroit. I was the only black person there. I'm like, really? This is kind of downtown Detroit. So things have changed, and I hope they continue to change. And 'cause things have a way of turning around. I hope that doesn't happen. But and the writing is just much more powerful and much more honest. And I think the stories are overall much more reflective of society as it exists.
Right, because of course we fight ghosts and things too. People of all cultures have things going on.
Yeah. No, it doesn't all have to be
Yes.
told through those specific people. So
Right.
I'm glad that they're opening up, and the money's going to be made. It's just whatever fear that is. I keep waiting for that knocking on the door. But I'm very, very thankful.
And how is the filming the show, The Family Business on BET Plus, and it's been on for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
What growth have you seen in that writing over this 5 seasons?
It has grown, and the writing is the characters. I think one of the things that Carl Weber, who created the series, they cast really good people, and I love the cast. I haven't spent a lot of time watching his. I know there's a couple of spinoffs, but I love this cast. I love working with them, and they all bring 100%. And I'm so thankful to get a chance to play this character, to be in a series with my people, and that's fun because I haven't always had the chance to do that.
Right. And speaking of that, I used to love seeing you pop in and out on Modern Family.
Oh,
Okay,
right.
so what was that like? I'm sure that was amazing to have to rehearse and go over those lines. What was the writing like on that show? I miss it so much. And what do you miss about it?
Yeah, it was just a great show. Ed O'Neill has been a friend for a long time, and I love working with people who I love.
Yes.
And it was great. I never felt I had enough to do. That's the
right.
frustrating thing about it. They said, we really, really want you, and we love your work, but then I go, well, give me something to do here. I did, what was that, Desperate Housewives, and I did like 8 episodes. I'm like, but what's going on? Why? I'm here, but, hello. So that hopefully is changing, and and the roles are multi-dimensional characters, so not just show up and be there.
Right. That's amazing. Well, I feel like you're a legend because I've always seen your face pop up in and out. And to me, that means that you're a legendary talent, an icon. So I appreciate the conversation. And again, I'm Naya Good with Sheen Magazine.
Oh,
Thank you. Thank you.
Good talking to you.
Good talking to you, too.
Take care.
Thank
Good
you.
luck with everything.
Thank you, you too. Congratulations. How much fun is it to write this show? And what do you guys like? What is it like? Do you guys come completely unhinged in the writers' room? Like, tell me about it.
Yeah, it is really fun. It's my dream job. I used to work in HR before this, so it's nothing like working in HR. But yeah, we spend all day just cracking each other up and hoping that the jokes make it into the episode. But it's just a bunch of brilliant people who like to have a good time, and we love each other. And I think it shows in the work that we do.
Yes. What is your dream and hope of this of Abbott Elementary? Like to go to the distance, or to even maybe one day become like an actual movie? Because I want to see what happens afterwards. I hate it when shows end, and I'm like, okay, well, can you just come up with a movie? Like, what is the future for Abbott Elementary?
I mean, that's up to Quinta. I'm just on the bus as long as she wants to keep driving it. So I think we're just hoping to go as long as Quinta feels that the story is complete. And who knows when that will be. But until then, I think we're all just there for a fun ride.
Yeah. How does it feel to be on an award-winning show? Like, what is that like? Like, what is the energy like around that?
It's amazing. I think I just have to remember that, every show won't be like this. So just to get to soak in the moments like this where people will acknowledge our show, and just to have a show that's mostly black and black people behind us have us honored it and acknowledged. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love it so much, and I'm so grateful that you guys have created this. I love it so much. Congratulations on the nomination and all future Abbott Elementary endeavors. And, if you ever need an astrologer, I can do some astrology funny shit now. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Congratulations. Nice to meet you, Ramel Ross. Yes, nice to meet you. Congratulations on the nomination for. I'm sorry, I just lost it. I have so many names in my head.
Adaptation?
Yes.
Best adapted screenplay. But then also the Paul Selvin Award, which is pretty cool. Yeah.
Okay, so what is the Paul Selvin? Why is it important to you and your project?
The Paul Selvin Award is given to a film that has a social, do-good, integrity-filled lacing in their writing. And yeah, we couldn't be more happy to have Colson Whitehead's Nickel Boys and our Nickel Boys, awarded.
Okay, so I read about that the project is about the Jim Crow South and these boys that have been banished to this reform school, and it's talking about how they're surviving. What part of their thriving actually helps them to survive in this situation, and where do you see them going after this, after they've survived and thrived after this Jim Crow reformation?
Yeah, I think what we tried to do in the film was emphasize more of the act and the process of living than the process of being in the school. We shot the film point of view. We gave the camera essentially to the boys, so the audience sees through the eyes of them. And with that, the film becomes more about human experience as opposed to the oppressive system which most of us are in. And in that's just hopeful to remember humanity and to remember, deep personal subjectivity. And I think for the boys and their afterlife of the reform school, as evidenced through the film, it's about relationships, and it's about finding people who see you, people to support you, and that can help you thrive after.
Right. Now, what was it like working with Ajane? She's such an amazing actress, and I've learned more about her since Sundance last year. What was it like writing for her and seeing her bring your words to life?
Yeah, it was incredible to say the least. She really embodies the characters and brings behavior that you can't script, right? Like, you actually want more of a blank slate for her to embody because she brings the unimaginable. And so, yeah, it was quite a pleasure.
Chills, as you said. I'm like, yeah, I see it in most of her projects that I've been able to watch. Yeah. Well, congratulations on the nomination and the future success of Nickel Boys and all of your projects. It's amazing. I love to see you all here being recognized for your writing, for sure.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. Thank you. Someone who hasn't watched Nickel Boys, what about the way that your part was written would stand out to a viewer, and how do you feel about the overall writing of your show and what it's trying to speak to the people?
I feel like Nickel Boys, and I'm pretty confident when I say this, is the only novel adaptation that adapts a novel the way the reader would experience it.
Yes.
It's the only one.
I love that.
And it's very risky to do it like that, but I think Ramel and Jomo nailed it.
Right.
And I guess looking back, they're pioneers.
Yeah.
We'll be talking about it for years to come.
Why do you think that's risky to actually adapt the film the way that the author wrote the book?
Well, when you're transitioning from one medium to the next, there are certain things people expect.
Right.
And the last thing anyone expects, I think, when they go see a movie from a book they read, is to watch something that looks like a memory.
Right.
But using the POV kind of is this really the only real way to take the novel medium and translate it into cinema. And I never would have thought of it. You know, I'm an aspiring writer myself, and I think Ramel and Jomo did a great job.
Yeah.
Hence their nominations,
Right,
you know?
it's a
Yeah.
nomination, right. That's amazing. I love that because you mentioned that, and there was a movie I was watching a couple weeks ago called Straw Dogs, and the author, before he died, said he did not want the movie to be depicted the way that it was, and it was totally off from the way that he actually wrote the book. And I was shocked too about that. And I often wonder, like, why is that so important? Like, why is that important? Did you get any insight on why is it so important for the screenplay to be so different from the novel in other projects?
I mean, again, I think it's just when you're transitioning from one medium to the next, there's something that has to happen. Like, it's like trying to redraw something in a new dimension. That's really what's going on.
Yeah.
But I think with Ramel, Jomo, and shout out to Jacqueline as well, it wasn't really a decision of a bold choice. It was just the right thing to do. It seemed obvious to them. And I think that's a testament to artists with conviction. Because this is just what we're going to do.
We're going to do it.
You might not like it.
Right.
It might not be your cup of tea, but you can't look at this cup of tea and say it's poorly made, you know? Like, you might not like chamomile, but that's the best made chamomile cup of tea, you know? So that's how I feel about it. I hope others feel the same way.
That's amazing. I love the insight that you provided. Congratulations on your show's nomination, and hopefully you win, and all the future endeavors.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Take care.
Okay, so your show, The Bear, is nominated in the comedy category alongside Abba Elementary, and you play Ibrahim. Okay, Ibrahim.
Yes.
So how do you appreciate the way your character is written for the show? Do viewers what they will receive from your character?
Well, what I like about my character, is that what you're asking me first? I like how quiet he is. I think something that can kill a character is if we don't get an idea of who they are with silence. And I think because there's so much cacophony going on in the show, that Ibrahim being quiet and a man of few words says a lot about kind of the pains that the creator and the writers took to have characters of varying levels existing together. So, and I think, you know, the seriousness by which he delivers his lines, the comedy's in there, because he's not joking. He's seen so much.
That's amazing. Okay, and so how does it feel to be nominated? Like, especially for the writing and playing, and obviously your show is being nominated because the writing is outstanding. How does that feel to you to know that you're on projects with outstanding writing, and what do you see for the future for your show?
Oh, well, I love writers. That's why I became one. And it is a show that's very deserving.
Yes.
Because of the consistency of the level of writing. There's never been a real drop-off. There may be things that people don't like about storylines, but the writing and the stories are themselves really, really wonderful works. And the other part of your question was about...
just what do you feel, how do you feel the future of the writing of the show will continue to expand and gain, attention?
I'm living in it with you all, and I'm just like always surprised and always pleased with what I see each season. Got the new scripts already for season 4. Thank you, and I can't wait to get to work next week.
Oh, I'm excited for you to get to work next week too.
Yeah.
What was so exciting about writing this project and having it on BET? And having it on BT Plus, and writing and working with Morris Chestnut, who I realize has a star on the Walk of Fame, and I've interviewed him too. Like, what was it like with all of these creative minds? It was such a great project.
There were lots of blessings on blessings on blessings on that. That's one of my favorite songs, and we did experience that. It's lovely anytime you get to put a black woman right in front and center of a narrative, and this was a narrative that we hadn't seen that much before. It was a black female PI.
I think we've all been PIs in our personal life.
But we don't. But we mind our business,
But
and
we
that's
mind-
different for us. We're like, okay, well, I see it over there, but I want to know.
Yeah.
You jumped right in, and it was amazing.
Thank you. And I mean, people do say that does feel like a white female stereotype of like, I'm not going anywhere until I get answers.
Right.
Normally we're like, oh, we don't get answers? Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
I'll go sit over here and
Right.
talk to my girlfriends about it. But she was very much like, I'm going to get answers. And so it felt like a privilege to be able to put a black woman right in the center of a narrative like that. You mentioned Morris, Felicia,
Yes.
David Zayas, Paul Ben Victor, Dominique Perry,
Yes,
Brian
I
Tur-
interviewed her.
I mean, John Chafin, like people, the actors are so fantastic.
So
And
amazing.
so we just surrounded me with really great actors,
Yes.
and it was really my pleasure to sit across from them and just respond to what they were giving me.
Right, and then
Yeah.
you were also the star of it too, so that's amazing. How is there going to be a season 2? Can you tell us?
So we are writing
Yes.
the season 2
Okay.
right now.
Oh my God.
And hoping that leads to a full production green light.
Yes, and it will be. It will
Thank
be.
you.
What
Thank
else?
you.
So, how important is writing and story? How important is storytelling and writing to you as a writer? And I was talking to a journalist earlier, and she said that she'll fire somebody if they use Chat GPT. It's almost comparable to
Yeah.
plagiarism, she feels.
Yeah.
So, why is that important to you as a writer for people to actually put pen to paper or put their fingers on a keyboard and create a project?
Well, I think that the reason that art is impactful is because it's my soul communicating to your soul.
Right.
And yes, there are words, there's music, there's all these other elements, but at the end of the day, it's boiled down to like when people go, I felt something when I watched it.
Yeah.
I've said this a few times that I wrote from a place of grief, of losing my mother, and even though in the show it's actually depicted as a divorce, the emotionality of that was coming from my grief. And when people watch the show and they go, I felt like that helped me get through something, it's because my soul is in there.
Yeah, of course it is.
Yeah, so I do, I understand that innovation is a part of the human experience and it's gonna happen, but it does make me itch a little bit as a writer, because my hope is that our stories continue to come from people's souls. And although you invite other collaborators to make it more of a shared experience, I think the best stories come from personal, human inspiration.
Yes, and I feel like most people who write anyway, I'm writing a book myself, but most of us, when we do write, we're kind of taking pieces of our life. People don't even know this probably, but they're taking pieces of their life and immersing it into a story, based on, with different names and things. So I love that. Like everything is from your personal experience.
Yeah.
Now, how was it to have a Morris Chestnut yelling moment in the movie? He's known for like going off in a lot of or in the show. He's known for going off and his energy in different scripts. What was that like to actually be there? Is it like Capricorn intense because he's a Capricorn?
He's a sweetheart. He really is. I mean, people keep saying the same thing about him. It really is true. He's a really good guy, solid guy, great actor, and then a consummate professional. I didn't really see him going off. He's very chill.
Very like serious. I guess maybe the going off is the wrong word, but just stern and serious. And like even when he told her to mind her business in the classroom, it was like mind her business, like that moment.
Yeah. I think that Morris Chestnut in a lot of ways is synonymous with perfection.
Yes.
And in our first meeting, I just said to him, and that's the character Swa, is also this guy who wants to be perfect. And I say, I'm really interested in someone who has had the task of being perfect, what it feels like to get up under that, and what is the cost of that, and how it can become a prison, that kind of perfection. And so I really like to needle him, and the more my character needles him, the more stern he gets. Yeah, but we had a lot of fun because that was really important to me. I think as Black people, sometimes we think we have to be perfect all the time, and it's like we're all flawed, and I'm very interested in what's up underneath all that perfection that so many of us feel like we have to exude.
That is so interesting. I know I probably got to let you go, but why do you think we do feel like we have to be so perfect? Like, what are we trying to measure?
Racism.
Yeah.
Racism. I mean, I think because when something goes wrong or when we make a mistake, we're often punished more harshly. And so it's a survival mechanism. But I hope that we can relax some of that, and in spaces at least where we do feel safe, that we can learn to put down some of those sort of masks. Yeah.
Be okay with being loose and natural. That's what I was reading that in an Oslo book recently. He was like, the key to life is just being loose and natural.
Loose and natural?
Loose and natural.
Ooh,
You like it?
I do like it. As I'm in this tight dress and these heels,
Right.
I'm like, ooh, I'll try that.
Lose it natural. You gotta shake it off. Love juror number 2. I absolutely did, but I was highly I was astonished at why everybody was so ready to, convict the person without really trying to delve in, especially your character, and why they were so adamant about it. How did you feel having to portray that character, how it was written, and that's the question.
Yeah. I believe black people get angry too.
Right.
I believe we are humans, and we can also have perspectives that might color your belief.
Yes.
You might also have something that has happened to you with your family, with gangs, with drugs, whatever, and that colors your perspective.
Yeah.
This particular character, Marcus King, had a history of gang violence that affected him. His brother passed away.
Yes.
And it colored his point of view on the presumed guilty. And he couldn't see himself outside of that.
Right.
And I believe not just certain people, black people, Asian people, we all have our biases that sometimes can cloud us. And in this particular film, that was what was going on with him. Maybe he shouldn't have been chosen to be in this jury, but that is a reflective of what our jury system is. Sometimes people get in on a jury that have been clouded. And for me, it was not for me to judge Marcus, but to portray what he felt and believe it and try to show that point of view. That even though the person that is on trial and he's done bad things in the past, can that person change? Can that person who actually did the crime, who now is on the jury, Nicholas Holt's character, is he an indeed good person?
Right.
My character knew something was going on with him, but he was too clouded with his point of view of what he thought before. And for me, as an actor who usually does comedy, a lot of people know me from Reno 911 or the Boondocks or something Black Dynamite or whatever. It was really great for me to actually do something like this and flex my dramatic muscle a little bit and let them know I can do this as well.
Because you did. And I was like, what are you?
Yeah,
but it was such a good movie.
Yeah.
And I would watch it again. It was so, I was like, what? It was just amazing movie. So,
what is justice? And is truth really justice? And can a person be redeemed?
Right.
Can a person outrun his past discretions?
Yeah.
Those are all questions for me that the film asks the viewer. And for me, I love movies that don't just spoon feed you what this is supposed to be. They want you to think about. The ending was rather ambiguous about what happens here. For me, I love when that last scene is that he finally has his newborn, and as a father, you want this newborn to look at you as a hero and look at you through those eyes. And then a moment later, a door knocks, and this woman actually knows who you
Toni
are.
Collette. Oh
Yes,
my God.
yes, she
and I love
sees
how
you.
She has her accent. She just does, like she did the Southern accent. She's always in movies in which she actually, and you don't even know that she's actually
great.
British.
Her and Chris Messina. I'd never been on a jury before, and so when they,
I started looking. I want to be on jury.
I want to be on a jury.
I really did.
But for me, watching them, it was really great. Just I got caught up in it. Like, who do I believe in this? You know, they were such great actors, and it was just an amazing experience. And being able to work with Clint was damn cool.
That too, like all these different generations coming together for this amazing project.
I'll tell you, this one part where we were working on a bridge, I confront Nicholas Holt's character on this bridge, and it was like 102 degrees. Yeah, it was really hot.
Yeah.
It was like my second day of working.
Oh my God.
But we had to block off the traffic on that bridge.
Yeah.
But then we would open up it and let the traffic go through.
Yeah.
It was such a cool thing to watch Clint Eastwood be cool about being Clint Eastwood, because he would go and talk to every driver that came through and say thank you for being so patient, and it was just cool to see Clint Eastwood enjoy being Clint Eastwood. It was
I
great.
love that.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on all
Oh, yes.
things, and
Thank you.
for presenting these awards to these amazing
it's gonna be
writers.
fun.
Okay, so you're on the board of directors
I am.
for the Writers Guild Award.
I am.
So what do board of directors do on the Writers Guild Award board?
Well, we are in charge of the Writers Guild. We're elected
Right.
by the members as
Right.
leadership, and so normally I was on the negotiating committee, during the strike and all that very intense,
Yes.
important work. This is the night, though, when we just celebrate writers, and so we just get to be here and enjoy the work of our colleagues and help celebrate them. And I'm really excited because I'm a comedy variety writer. I work in late night and that kind of thing. And that's the kind of writers' work who we really showcase tonight,
Yes.
because this is, writers write the award shows, right? Every award show you watch is written by some writers.
Yes, sir.
And so we have the best jokes
Yes.
because this is the Writers Guild Awards.
Right. That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
I love that.
That's what I love
Okay,
about
so
it.
which one of the projects that are nominated are one of the shows or films that you kept, that you, I guess I would say, binge watched or felt really
my
excited
God.
about?
I'm so excited this year about Honora. Did you see Honora?
No.
You didn't see it?
No.
You got to see it. It's so funny.
Okay, I'm watching.
It really looks like it's going to be serious, maybe kind of romantic, maybe kind of scary. It's so funny. It's the funniest movie I saw all year. And I really love it when a movie you don't expect it to be a comedy.
Yes.
There's one part in this movie I laughed for 20 minutes
For
straight.
20 minutes straight.
One scene that the scene never stopped. I never stopped laughing. I was like dying in the
Oh my
theater.
God, how many times did you rewind it? When you
Oh,
got
I
to
was in
watch
the
it?
theater.
Oh,
I
you were in
only
the
I only
theater.
watched it
Oh,
the
you
one
didn't
time.
stream it. Okay.
Yeah, no, but they do all the streaming, all the streamers, all the screeners via apps now, so I can go back and
So you
watch
can
it
go
at
back and
home.
rewatch it because that's what I was telling Abby Elementary. I was like, I have to watch. It takes me an hour to watch it because I'm replaying scenes and you
Yeah,
don't want to
you're
miss something.
you're
It's
watching
like
your
30
favorite parts
minutes.
again?
It's like 23 minutes of just like so much stimulation. But okay, and also, so what is important about writers? Like, it's a general question, but why is writing so important in every facet? Like you just said, like the award shows are written, a comedy skit is written, a little short story is written, to a long running film, to an LP, to an EP. Why is writing actually important versus ChatGPT?
Right. Oh, sure. Well, so ChatGPT, all it does is chew up and spit out what writers have written in the past.
Exactly.
It is incapable of coming up with anything original.
Right.
But more importantly, writers. We're people, and so we're part of society, and our job is to look around society and go, what are people thinking? When I tell a joke, if I were to write a joke for tonight's show, I have to think, okay, there's 1,000 people in this room. They're all here for the award show. They're all wearing tuxes. They're a little uncomfortable. How do they feel? What's happening in the world? Are they worried about politics? Are they worried about whatever? And then I'm going to write a joke that responds to that and speaks to the specific moment that they have. That's like only a human can do. That's humans understanding humans. Then in terms of the larger entertainment industry, why is writing important? Writing is where everything starts. Every movie, every television show, it starts with the writer having an idea, pitching the idea, and then putting some words on a blank page. And that's not to say writers are more important than everybody else, but that is sort of the special importance of writers. I always tell the editors, because they're the last people, and so they are very important too. They take everything everyone else has done and edit it together. Writers start the project. So, it's a team sport, but that's our special little contribution.
I love that. I love how you broke that down because people don't realize, they don't realize all the different energies that go into creating greatness.
Yeah.
And there's a journalist on the red carpet that mentioned earlier that, like, at her school, USC, she will fire somebody that uses ChatGPT because she feels like it's comparable to plagiarism. How do you feel about that?
I don't endorse. I don't tell anybody to fire anybody or make any decisions based on that. But I do think that ChatGPT, the best it can be is a crutch for people. At the end of the day, writing is choosing what word comes next, right? And that's your job as a human to do that. And if you're outsourcing that to something else, then you're not doing your job, and that's what it comes down to. So if you don't care about the words, then go ahead and use it. If you're just writing an email or doing a cover letter for a resume and you don't really care if you get the job. But if you're writing and you call yourself a writer, then just pick what the next word is. That's what you're supposed to do.
Right. Very simple. Very simple. Well, what else should people know about the Writers Guild Awards that we don't know? Like, we know there's a board. What is the secret to the Writers Guild Awards that we don't know?
The most important thing about it is that this is chosen by the other writers in Hollywood. You know, this is an award given by peers to each other, and even though we're a part of the whole award system, right? There's like 15 different award shows that happen in LA every year, and some of them, the organizations are just, who even knows who these people are, right, who make the selections. But in the case of the Writers Guild Awards, sure, there's all that stuff, other stuff going on, but we really care about honoring each other. This is part of how we build solidarity, you know, and community, and that's really important, you know. And if I can get a little political, you know, part of the reason that our politics is so awful right now is because everybody's separated from each other, and you know, people aren't in groups, they're not in organizations, people aren't going to churches, you know, people aren't going to PTA meetings, people aren't going to bowling leagues, people are not coming together. And what's really important about unions is we are where people come together and make choices together and have solidarity and decide to work together. And the Writers Guild Awards is part of that for our union, you know. So it's not just like, oh, it's a glittery, glamorous thing. It's like part of fighting for our labor rights, and I think that is, you know, the only path to saving America, honestly, is not that these awards are saving America, but you know, getting together with building community and bonds of affinity and solidarity. That is the only thing that's going to save us.
I love everything that you just said.
Thank you.
I'm glad that I was like, I really want to talk to you, but I don't want to yell across the red carpet. But amazing. So what is it like being on an award-winning, critically acclaimed freaking show, portraying your character in such the brilliant way that you do? I love hearing you like do your thing. There was a clip that came out on Hollywood Confidential. They showed you going up to, listen, I'll be here all day trying to do it. But anyways,
tell me. What is it?
Okay. So you walked up to the other teacher, I forget his name, the curly hair teacher.
Yeah, Jacob.
And you were like, he was one of the students had a letter from their
I know
parent.
what you're talking
yeah,
about.
I'm not the one or the two. That was so hilarious. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like, what is?
I love that.
Tell me about your experience portraying the writing that on this show.
Well, first of all, as you so rightly said, the writing on Abbott Elementary is top tier.
Yes.
Because it comes from writers who have that is their lived experience.
Yes.
They know, they have an auntie who's Barbara Howard.
Oh my God.
They went to a school that is one of these underfunded, not everybody, but most of our writers at least had that experience. I had that experience growing up outside of DC. But I think what I love the most about being in this group is that every single person is operating at the top ability. All of our actors are, our directors are behind the crew, our camera crew. Everybody is, and by the way, a diverse group.
Yes.
Behind the camera as well, which is not necessarily usual.
Right,
it is
behind
because
the
people
camera.
have to get more experience in order to be considered for those jobs as first camera operator, second camera operator, DP, director. But our writing staff, are these people that are gender diverse, they are racially diverse, their life experience is such that they can authentically create these characters, and it doesn't feel like a reach. People think that we're ad-libbing all the time, and we're all like, no, the writers just know how to write for these characters.
They're writing their asses off. It's
Yes,
amazing.
yes, writing their asses off.
Yes. Well, I love that. He's telling me to wrap it up. I love that you so eloquently share that experience, and the fact that you pointed out that even behind the scenes, that is important, because I often look, I'm like, okay, where's the cameraman? What do they look like?
Yeah.
And so it is amazing that you pointed that out too.
Yes, it's true.
I know that you guys are going to always get picked up for seasons, because you guys are going to be here as long as freaking. I love it so much. I always dreamed of like this kind of show with this type of diverse cast, because I was a Modern Family at The Office person. So congratulations on all the things.
Thank you.
Keep
I'm
doing your
excited.
thing.
As long as Quinta has the wherewithal to go through. Whenever we start talking about season 9 and 10, she looks like she might faint.
Oh my God.
But we're hoping that she holds on.
Well, we'll see what happens. I'm gonna enjoy the ride the whole time.
Thank you.